The Toronto Maple Leafs have unfortunately confirmed the worst news on Jake Muzzin. His season is over, but is his career possibly over as well? We'll discuss the update and what it could all mean for his future coming up next. So welcome back to another video here, Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we had a significant update from the Maple Leafs today regarding the health of defenseman Jake Muzzin. Of course, Muzzin has been out for a big part of the season. He's only appeared in 4 games this year. We kind of suspected, based on where he's been on LTIR and the other moves the Maple Leafs have made, he most likely wasn't going to be able to return before the playoffs for sure. That much was pretty much a guarantee. But I guess there were still some question marks as if he was able to recover enough. Would he maybe play in the playoffs? And now we know the answer to that, and unfortunately the answer is no. Jake Muzzin has been officially shut down for the entire regular season and playoffs. Let's take a look at a copy of the statement put out by the Maple Leafs through NHL.com a little bit earlier this afternoon. It says basically that after follow-up consultations with various specialists, the Toronto Maple Leafs medical staff have determined that Muzzin has been ruled out for the rest of the NHL's regular season and playoffs, recovering from a cervical spine injury. Now, of course, I guess depending on what's been out there for information, there's been some talk of concussion. Obviously, cervical spine injuries is pretty high up there, so I mean, it could certainly lead to some similar symptoms. I know I've seen cases of players like Sidney Crosby is a good example of a player that was out for a really long time, which many believe was a concussion, but ended up after getting chiropractic treatment on his neck and stuff, he was able to make some recovery. So I don't know what the exact details of the, fine details of everything here. Just saying that essentially it's, that's the injury that they're reporting as cervical spine injury. So they certainly want to be careful for sure. We know that Jake Muzzin is 34 years old. He's been around the NHL a fair bit of time. He's appeared in 683 games played, putting up 294 points during the regular season, appearing in an additional 72 playoff games, winning a Stanley Cup with the Los Angeles Kings, where he played the bulk of his career back in 2015. Of course, he was originally a Pittsburgh Penguins draft pick, made his way to LA via trade, and then, of course, was involved in a fairly significant trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs a few years back. During his time with the Leafs, he's never been able to put through a full season. He's come, somewhat close. I think the maximum games he's appeared in 1 year, one campaign, I believe was 53 or 55 or something like that. Muzzin has dealt with a fair bit of injuries, but he plays a rugged style of game. And of course, during his tenure in Toronto, he has dealt with multiple concussions, which obviously are not something you want to take lightly and something that can keep you out for a fair bit of action. I mean, obviously being 34 years old, having a young family, is one more year of his contract of $5.6 million. I'm sure that, he'd love to be out there battling, because that's the kind of warrior that he is, and would love to be part of this Leafs team that does have a good shot at making a run here in this playoffs. I mean, this might be the strongest Maple Leafs team we've seen during their more modern stretch here in the last 5-6 years of being a playoff contender, trying to become Stanley Cup contenders. Yes, they haven't gotten out of the first round yet, but this team might be different. I guess we'll find out when the playoffs come around. Either way, unfortunately for them and for Muzzin, he will not be a part of it. After missing the bulk of the season and not being reevaluated until training camp, that's kind of telling on concerning for, is his career over? They didn't get into that today. We cannot confirm or deny whether or not Jake Muzzin will ever play hockey again at the NHL level, but there's certainly some major question marks, and you do have to wonder if this could be the end for the rugged defenseman for sure. We know he's done for this season for sure, will not come back even into playoffs, and he will only be reevaluated, and they will provide further updates sometime early in training camp in the fall, and when the 2023-2024 season is getting ready to be underway. So we may not know, but do you think there's a big question mark with 1 year left in his age and the history? You do have to think that Jake Muzzin may have made his final appearance without knowing it on NHL ice. So let me know your thoughts on this news for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Clearly, they've already made plans to maximize their LTIR pool with him being on there. Looks like they may have that leverage again next season with him seemingly unlikely to return, but I'm sure at some point they might rather have Jake Muzzin in the lineup than to use his cap hit as an LTIR pool. But let me know your thoughts, and we'll discuss further down in the comments. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.